Okay, it's recording again. I guess we'll just be split into two.
Alright. Part 2, Dave.
I'm not going to be charged extra for this, am I?
Yes. Double. Alright. So, what do you want to do?
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
you know,
What I am mostly concerned with is that in order to pursue it, they're going to want to see that you made an effort to compromise with them. So, from my understanding, it seems like you want to go as far as you can in the courts, like we were talking about.
mhm.
Before our next meeting, we are going to probably talk to the people at the video store again. What I would like for you to do in the next week is think about if there's any middle ground at all. Like maybe you could volunteer to change the studs from big ones to small ones so they're less noticeable, something like that. If there's any middle
Mhm.
ground at all, I'd like for you to bring it to us, okay?
Okay.
And if we can get a copy of the dress code, because the wording in it is helpful for you, so if any papers like that you can bring us, that would help as well.
Okay. What do you see as the strengths of the case?
The strengths really are that the dress code doesn't specifically mention piercings,
Mhm.
so we have the availability to argue that you look professional even though you have piercings in.
Plus the other employees who are at the front with piercings prior to you going there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's your religion.
Yeah.
Good.
Legally, not doesn't look good to a jury because of the timing, but legally it's in your favor.
I remember you said something about it being a private company and religion.
Yeah.
Right.
So if it's like private companies, they don't have to. They can violate that right?
Well,
Or-
they have
or
to
they're not-
follow, They have to follow the equal employment opportunity.
Uh-huh.
But that's the list that I was going down with you. They have, you have to tell them about your religion, and then they have to either make an accommodation for you, or if it's too much of a burden, they don't have to make an accommodation. They offered you an accommodation, which was covering it with Band-Aids or
At which
the
point
plastic.
the burden shifts to you.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. You have to show that you made an effort to cooperate with them.
Right, a good faith effort. So now the ball's in your court. So,
Uh-huh.
like Stacy was saying, you need to think about it.
Yeah.
You know, give us something to go to the table with. I would recommend trying to work this out of court. I just think it would be the best bet for you. Do you
Do
agree?
you,
Yeah,
so do you think the only like as far as settlement or negotiation with the company, I mean, is it only changing the appearance, or are they, like if I were to pursue a lawsuit, I feel like my rights have been violated. Do you see them as wanting to settle, like make a financial settlement, or?
So, it's possible, like, we said, you need to tell us what you're willing to do.
Mhm.
I think that we can bring, a negotiation to negotiation. So,
Yeah.
if you have something in mind, then let us know, and we'll advocate on behalf of you.
Mhm.
But it's going to have to involve you being flexible on a little bit, at least. You're going to have to move a little bit. You
Okay.
can't take a hard stance and, they're not. They've made their offer. Band-Aids are clear studs. What's your counter?
So what are my options to take this to court? Like, is there different courts I take it to, or?
Well, the first thing that we would have to do is file a complaint with the Equal Opportunity and see what Equal Opportunity Commission and see what they come back with there. And I'm not exactly sure what that entails. Is that its own board or something? Probably.
I don't know.
That we'll look into.
It'll
that.
have to be a
Oh.
religious,
It's likely
religious
it's likely
discrimination
its own
complaint
board.
with the EEOC.
Yeah. So that's likely its own board, and then whatever comes back from there.
Oh,
we'll
you know
have
what?
to,
Now that I think about it, you would file the complaint of religious discrimination with the EEOC, and then the EEOC will send you a letter with a right to sue if they agree. So that, like, the EEOC will send you a letter saying no, you don't, nothing there, or they'll send you a letter saying yes,
Mhm.
here's your right to sue letter.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I remember that from advanced writing, maybe something. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah,
You'll
I
get a
have no
right to
idea
sue
about
letter
that, but
if
we can
you're
look
able to
into it.
sue. Let's
Uh-huh.
say
Okay.
you can sue, or you can't sue.
And the whole reason I took this job is because my parents will not finance my fondness for my lifestyle. And now I've connected with this church and I feel like I belong and I feel like my rights are violated.
What does the church say? Is there any kind of resources with the church? Has the church dealt with this before? Is there any kind of support from the church dealing with employers who are requiring the removal of Christians?
I'd have to look into that. I could get you that information. I know
Nobody's
they,
mentioned anything in your discussions of this with at the tattoo shop or anything?
well, the church promotes, displaying piercings, showing this connection to her, being closer to her core.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure of their legal history on what cases they've been involved with. I did print out some material from that website, and I can bring that in next time.
Yeah.
That might have some of that information because they do have some testimonials on there, and I think they might have mentioned that some people had also encountered similar difficulties with their employment.
Does anybody at the church that you spend time with know what you're going through right now?
Yeah,
They do.
yeah. Some of my close friends.
What have they said about it? Are these people who have been at this church longer than you have?
They've been there longer. Yeah.
Have they said anything? Have they given you an opinion about this at all? Have they given you any reference to what the church has done in the past?
They haven't told me like how the church has approached this from a legal standpoint, but they've just said that it's they agree it's not right and that there should be
Who was the
some room
guy?
for justice.
Wasn't it somebody from? Who was it that told you, just backtracking for a minute, that hey, there's this church that makes this your religion? You don't remember?
Oh, it was it was at that same tattoo parlor as somebody I ran across. I think it was like a friend of a friend that had mentioned this church, and I just dove into the material right away and almost had immediate connection, So
All right.
So one thing that I wanted to talk about, you mentioned the possibility of wanting to get a financial settlement from the video store. If you are going through with a lawsuit that might affect things with your job, do you think that would have any, like, if you keep the job and you're also suing them, do you think that'll cause tensions or anything in the workplace?
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would play out if we did settle. So I don't know if it's smart to settle, and it's best to take it all the way if you're going to go into it at all.
If you did sue and you won,
Mhm.
and so then they are paying you and they have to let you keep your job, would you still want to keep that job? Would you still want to be there after all of the negativity?
Well, I would think if we won, I would be able to express myself how I want to express myself in appearance, and I don't know. I would just feel like I'll take that victory lap. I'll work there.
Okay.
But
All right. So let's end with this. Let's. Stacy mentioned a few things that she'd like you to get for us. So, a list to retrieve. We need to get a copy of the
The dress code,
dress code.
especially.
We need you to think about a middle ground, moving a little bit, making an offer some way. Just think about it. We're not saying you have to do it, but think about it. And if you come up with anything, let us know.
if there is any room at all for middle ground, that is your fastest and best route. And even if you go into court, they're gonna ask you and want to see that you
Make a
made
good
an
effort.
effort to compromise with them. So
Okay.
finding some middle ground, even if it's something that they won't agree to, being able to go to them and ask, hey, what if we do this, and having them say no, at least shows that you were trying.
Okay.
But you need to do it with a good faith effort.
Right.
So make sure that when you decide whatever it is, that you're okay with it, because the point is for a good faith effort. So you don't want to just go in there with a fictitious, offer. You want to go in there with an offer that you'll actually accept if they accept it. Because once you offer and they accept it, you're in.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
So don't.
Because if you throw an offer out there just because you're trying to appease the court, that's not a great idea.
Mhm.
Because what if they say, deal? You know what I mean?
I see.
Yeah, whatever
Uh-huh.
whatever you offer, make sure that you're willing to live with if they say yes.
Okay.
So if there's any room at all for any middle ground, then we need to know about it.
So lowball it or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first beginnings of negotiations, so,
Uh-huh.
I mean, whatever that means for you, I don't know. If it were me, I would probably offer to take out some of the piercings and leave the more common ones, like the ears, maybe, what is it, the nose or the tongue, because people don't see the tongue very much.
And the cheeks. Yeah.
Yeah, so if it were me, I would offer to take some of them out and leave the less noticeable ones in, but whatever compromising looks like to you, whatever lowballing is to you, that's a good place to start with negotiations.
Okay.
They've already offered to let you come back if you cover them with Band-Aids or the plastic, so they've already shown they have some wiggle room, so
Right. Yeah.
try and meet them at somewhere in the middle.
Any questions for us?
So it sounds like they're caving to that, so they could cave further.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's probably some wiggle room.
Okay.
Especially with the wording of their dress code policy. Like it's not a super strong case until you offer to do something as well, but it gets stronger the further we go.
Okay.
Do you have any
Okay.
other questions for us?
No, I just was wondering. They have these like surgical implants where you can put like devil horns on your head, and would that be like a whole separate like issue that we'd have to address? Like if I were to put something like that.
Is that really in your facts?
Yes, it would be a whole separate issue that we would have to address. I don't see them. If they're upset about your piercings, I don't see them hiring anybody that has devil horns.
Okay.
I would not get that done, especially until the lawsuit is complete.
Okay. Well, yeah, they're.
I mean,
they're
you're
outside
right.
my budget. I mean,
You can do whatever you
can-
want. It's
yeah.
your right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, it's your body and your choice, so you do whatever you want. But if you're trying to sue them to keep your piercings in, I would not get that done right
We
now.
just
It
don't
sends the
want
wrong
to show
message.
the opposite of mitigation. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I understand. Yeah.
You want to show that you're working with them, not going as far
Not
in the opposite
escalating.
direction as you can. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, then we will look
Yep.
into this, and we'll have another meeting in about a week.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I'll think about, if what I like
Okay.
what I want from them.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. We'll see you in a week.
All right, thanks a lot.
So yeah, don't snag your jewels on the way out.